Formula One racing is one of the most intense and dangerous sports in the world, where even the smallest mistake can cost a driver their entire career. Despite the constant risk of death at every turn, drivers chase the dream of winning at any cost. This year's high-octane action film F1 dives straight into that adrenaline-fueled world, showcasing the sport's most intense moments along with the highs and lows of a driver's life. So what's the story behind it all? To find out, you'll have to watch the full video. But let's get into it. The movie opens with a former Formula One driver named Sonny Hayes, a legendary racer who dominated the track back in the 90s. However, after a devastating crash in 1993, he stepped away from F1 racing for good. Still, he could never fully leave the racing world behind and continued competing in different events on his own terms. Right at the start, we see him taking part in a race known as the 24 Hours of Daytona, driving for a Porsche team. Endurance races are brutally long, so drivers have to rotate multiple times within 24 hours. Sonny's stint happens at night, and he heads to the track right on schedule. When he arrives and swaps seats with the previous driver, their car is sitting in 7th place. But the moment Sonny takes control, he starts slicing through the field with aggressive, precise overtakes, climbing up to 2nd place in no time. Now the only thing standing between him and the lead is the fastest car on track, a BMW. He makes several attempts to pass, with both cars running side by side in a tense battle, even making slight contact more than once. At one critical turn, the BMW driver tries to outsmart him by braking hard, but Sonny reads it perfectly and pulls off a clean overtake to take the lead. He holds that position for the rest of his stint, and when it's time to switch drivers, he hands the car over to the next driver, who manages to keep the lead intact. In the end, the Porsche team wins the grueling 24-hour race. But even after the victory, Sonny shows almost no excitement. When the team chief brings him the trophy, he doesn't even bother to touch it. That's just who Sonny is. He's not the emotional type and rarely gets excited about anything. The team chief tries to extend his contract since Sonny had only signed on for that one race. But Sonny simply takes his payment and makes it clear that he'll come back to racing whenever he feels like it. After that, he leaves the place in his beat-up, oddly-looking van. Meanwhile, news of Sonny's win reaches his former F1 teammate, Ruben, who shows up to meet him. Ruben initially tries to joke around by hiding his identity, but Sonny recognizes him instantly. The two quickly fall back into old conversations, catching up on the past. Ruben then reveals that he now owns an F1 team called Apex GP, but things have gone terribly wrong since he bought it. Over the last 2 seasons, the team hasn't scored a single point, essentially burning through $350 million. To make matters worse, their main driver blamed the car and walked away from the team. Now, with only 9 races left in the season, if they fail to score any points, the board will shut the team down. On top of that, their second driver is talented but far too young and inexperienced. That's why Ruben offers Sonny a spot on the team. But Sonny initially isn't interested and tries to turn him down. The thing is, Sonny walked away from Formula One years ago, and even though he's no longer racing in F1, he still follows the sport closely. He knows exactly what's going on. And more importantly, he knows that the Apex GP car is basically a disaster, just like their former driver claimed. Still, Ruben tries to convince him by bringing up their past and even leaves him with a first-class ticket to London. After Ruben leaves, Sonny asks a waitress a simple question. If an old friend offered you something that's almost guaranteed to fail, would you take it? She replies that it would depend on how much money is involved. That answer clicks for Sonny, making him realize that maybe it's worth giving it a shot, at least for the payoff. Meanwhile, the Apex GP team is preparing for their next race at Silverstone in England, getting ready to compete in one of Formula One's most prestigious events, the British Grand Prix. On the other side, their second driver, Joshua, has been testing the car multiple times but still can't figure out what's wrong. He tells the team's technical director, Kate, that the car keeps slowing down on its own during turns, which is seriously hurting his lap times. In Formula One, a lap refers to one full circuit of the track, and the time it takes to complete it is called the lap time. F1 tracks are designed in a way that allows drivers to cover a distance of around 5 to 6 kilometers per lap within a compact area, repeating that loop multiple times. Depending on the track length, drivers usually complete anywhere from 40 to 70 laps in a single race. Anyway, since Joshua isn't able to provide any clear feedback, the team's engineers start getting frustrated. Meanwhile, team principal Casper tells everyone to forget the first half of the season and focus on making a fresh start. Just then, they spot someone walking toward them from a distance, and the moment Ruben sees him, his face lights up. It's Sonny, who has finally decided to show up for the driver audition. On the other hand, Joshua had already been warned by his coach to maintain his performance, knowing the team could be sold at any moment, which would put his seat at serious risk. So when he sees Sonny, he starts feeling a bit insecure. However, after Ruben introduces Sonny to everyone, he reassures Joshua that his seat is completely safe, explaining that Sonny is only there to audition as the second driver. Even so, Casper doesn't seem very confident about Sonny at first, but Ruben quickly makes it clear. Sonny isn't here to be tested, he's here to do the testing. In other words, it's not the team giving him a seat, it's Sonny deciding whether the team is worth joining. In fact, the real question is whether Sonny will even agree to drive for them. Hearing all this, he tells Kate to let him run a practice session using the exact same setup as Joshua, just to see if he can beat his lap time. He gets into the cockpit, fires up the car, and heads out on track. As he drives, Sonny quickly realizes there are serious issues with the rear tires and the car's wings. Even so, when he pushes the car to its limits, it loses control and spins out. But in classic Sonny fashion, he regains control and keeps pushing at high speed. Despite that, he ends up slower than Joshua through the first two sectors, which clearly boosts Joshua's confidence. However, in the final sector, Sonny manages to handle the technical flaws and pushes the car to extreme speeds. Right at the end of the lap, though, he completely loses control and the car crashes hard. The impact is massive, shattering the car into pieces. But Sonny walks away almost unharmed. That's because Formula One cars are built to absorb impact by breaking apart in a crash, protecting the driver. After climbing out of the wreck, Sonny immediately starts explaining the car's technical issues to the technical director and the race engineers. Even though Joshua feels a bit relieved after seeing Sonny crash, that feeling doesn't last long, because the moment he hears Sonny's lap time, his jaw practically drops. Sonny actually finished the lap nearly 500 milliseconds faster than the target Joshua had set for himself. That one run makes it clear there's no need to test anyone else. Ruben immediately starts preparing to announce Sonny as the team's second driver. Meanwhile, Joshua becomes seriously jealous, and his manager only makes things worse by feeding him bad advice. When he gets home, his mother senses his frustration and tells him to clear his head and focus on his driving instead of everything else. A few days later, Apex GP officially announces Sonny as their new driver and hands him the car. As the news spreads across the media, it creates a huge buzz, mainly because Sonny hasn't raced in Formula One for nearly 30 years. Back in the early 90s, he was considered one of the most talented drivers on the grid, but a devastating crash at the 1993 Spanish Grand Prix cut his career short. After stepping away, he spent years exploring other forms of racing like rally and NASCAR. Now, after winning a major endurance race, Sonny is finally making his long-awaited return to Formula One with Apex GP after 3 decades. After returning to the team quarters with his mother, Joshua is asked to attend a press conference. And following his manager's advice, he carefully answers every question from the media. When asked about his new teammate, he makes an awkward comment, saying that even older drivers deserve a chance. After Joshua, Sonny faces the press, but the journalists focus heavily on his personal life. Following his retirement from Formula One, Sonny had lost almost everything, and eventually his wife divorced him as well. When reporters ask if his life could have turned out differently, Sonny shows no real emotion and simply gives neutral, safe answers to every question. After the conference, Joshua's mother makes him apologize to Sonny for his behavior. The next day is race day, so Sonny begins preparing himself for the new challenge ahead. In Formula One, the starting positions are determined a day before the race through a qualifying session based on lap times. The faster the lap, the better the position on the grid. This lineup is known as the starting grid. However, since Apex GP's car is much slower, they end up qualifying at the very back of the grid. As a result, both drivers have to start the race from the very back of the grid the next day. Before the race begins, Ruben introduces Sonny to one of their investors, Peter Bannington. Soon after, the formation lap begins, where all the cars move into their grid positions before the race starts. This lap also helps drivers warm up their tires, since cold tires provide less grip and reduce speed at the start. While everyone else begins their formation lap, Sonny's car doesn't move at all, leaving commentators, fans, and even his own team engineers confused. It's soon revealed that the car was still in start mode, so pressing the accelerator didn't actually move it forward. Following instructions from his race engineer, Sonny switches the car into engine mode. People start assuming that after being away from racing for so long, he's forgotten the basics, and some even laugh about it. However, technical director Kate realizes that Sonny still needs to reach the grid before the formation lap ends. So she tells him he can push beyond the usual speed limit for that lap, since all the other cars have already taken their positions. That's when she realizes Sonny actually did it on purpose. By delaying himself, he created a chance to push harder during the formation lap, heating up his tires more than everyone else and gaining extra grip. It's a genius move, and the moment the race starts, everyone begins to see just how sharp he really is. With that early advantage, Sonny wastes no time, slicing through the field and overtaking 7 cars from the very back of the grid. It's something Apex GP has never pulled off in its entire racing history. But after a few laps, the rest of the drivers' tires warm up too, giving them better grip. And since their cars are still faster overall, they start passing Sonny back. About 20 laps into the race, his teammate Joshua heads into the pit lane for a tire change. In Formula 1, tires wear out quickly due to the extreme speeds, so teams usually need at least 1 or 2 tire changes during a race. Drivers pull into a narrow pit lane beside the track where a highly trained crew is already waiting. This is called a pit stop, and these crews are so precise that they can swap out an entire set of tires in just 2 to 3 seconds. In Formula 1, anything over 3 seconds for a pit stop is considered slow because every single second matters. So when Joshua's tire change takes 7 seconds, it's already a big setback. And things get even worse when Sonny's stop takes 9 seconds. The crew struggles to properly set the car jack, and with equipment left lying in the pit lane, the delay costs them dearly, dropping both drivers to the very back of the field. However, since Joshua had pitted earlier, his tires are already warm and offer better grip, giving him a speed advantage as he tries to overtake Sonny. Sonny, however, refuses to let him pass, even when the team orders him to give up the position. Ignoring team instructions, the 2 drivers get locked in an intense on-track battle that eventually ends in disaster as they crash into each other and are both forced out of the race. After the race, Joshua loses his temper and starts yelling at Sonny, blaming him for the mistake. As tensions rise and it looks like things might turn physical, Casper steps in to break it up. But Sonny makes his stance crystal clear. Once he's on the track, he's never going to hand over his position to anyone. Even after things cool down, Joshua and Sonny get into another argument, and later, once the race is over, Ruben storms in and starts yelling at Sonny, asking if he's doing all of this on purpose. He reminds him that something similar happened between them years ago at the Monaco Grand Prix, when they were teammates. Sonny just laughs it off and says there's no way he came back to Formula 1 after 30 years, especially after winning major endurance races just to ruin Ruben's reputation. Still frustrated, Ruben warns him to stay out of trouble until the next race. Sonny, however, fires back by telling him to upgrade the car because in its current state, it won't stand a chance at the Hungarian Grand Prix. After that tense exchange, Sonny goes to meet Kate and invites her for coffee to discuss the car's technical issues. During their conversation, he casually asks how she became the only female technical director in Formula 1, which comes off as slightly mocking and annoys her. Kate responds firmly, saying she earned her position through hard work, just like everyone else. Realizing the tension, Sonny brushes it off and shifts the conversation back to racing, suggesting upgrades to make the car faster on the straights for the Hungarian GP. Sonny's plan is to start attacking and overtaking cars on the straights in the next race, but Kate shuts him down, making it clear that the car's design won't be changed based on his suggestions, at least not until he proves himself by actually finishing a race. With that, the team continues preparing for the Hungarian Grand Prix. The night before the race, Joshua, out of curiosity, watches highlights of the 1993 Spanish Grand Prix and sees a young Sonny brilliantly overtaking the race leader Ayrton Senna, only for that moment to be followed by the devastating crash that ended his career. The next morning, the teams line up for the race, and most engineers expect only 1 pit stop, so they decide to use hard compound tires during the stop. In Formula 1, 5 types of tires are used: soft, medium, hard, intermediate, and wet. Hard tires are more durable and can last for more laps, while soft tires offer better speed but wear out quickly, forcing drivers to make more pit stops. Before the race even begins, Apex GP discusses strategy with Sonny and Joshua, but Sonny keeps mentioning something called Plan C, leaving everyone confused about what he actually means. Soon after the race starts, a major collision sends 3 cars off the track, and Sonny ends up with a punctured tire as well. The team immediately calls him in for a pit stop, but once he gets there, he insists on switching to soft tires while the crew is set on giving him hard compounds. No one really understands why he's pushing so hard for soft tires, but Sonny clearly has something in mind. When they refuse, he stubbornly refuses to leave the pit lane, just sitting there, leaving the engineers and even the team principal stunned. After a heated exchange, Casper finally gives in and orders the crew to fit soft tires. Only then does Sonny rejoin the race. Within minutes, he starts using the extra grip from the soft tires to his advantage and goes for an overtake on driver Kevin Magnussen. But the move goes wrong. Sonny crashes into him, breaking his front wing, while the other driver is forced to retire from the race. At that point, a safety car is deployed under Formula One regulations to clear debris from the track. The safety car leads the field at a reduced speed, keeping all the race cars lined up behind it and effectively controlling the pace. During this period, drivers are not allowed to overtake, and it also creates an opportunity for what's often called a free pit stop. Drivers can change tires without losing as much position, but once they rejoin, they must stay behind the pack until the safety car period ends. As several drivers head into the pits, Joshua's position starts to improve. Meanwhile, Sonny also comes in to replace his damaged front wing and tires. However, just a few laps later, while attempting another overtake, he ends up breaking his front wing again. By then, Joshua has climbed up to 11th place. That's when the Apex GP team begins to realize what's really going on. Sonny is deliberately sacrificing his own race, triggering incidents that bring out the safety car to help Joshua move up the field. If Joshua can break into the top 10, it would earn the team their first points of the season, since they've finished outside the top 10 in every previous race. However, Joshua doesn't fully understand the strategy and keeps requesting another tire change over the radio. The team tells Joshua to stay out on track, knowing that if he pits, he risks losing positions as others move ahead. A few laps later, Joshua climbs into 10th place with just 4 laps remaining. That's when Sonny pulls off another bold move. He pretends to go for an overtake, but instead deliberately runs off track, smashing through several sponsor boards. This brings out another safety car to clear the debris. With about a 10-second gap to the driver behind Joshua, the team finally decides to pit him, and this time the crew delivers, completing the tire change in just 2.9 seconds. As a result, Joshua manages to hold on to his position after rejoining. Since the race finishes under the safety car, no further overtakes are possible, and for the first time that season, Apex GP scores points. Sonny's master plan and flawless execution leave everyone stunned. Joshua even goes to thank him, but Sonny brushes it off, saying there's nothing to celebrate. Finishing 10th is just the beginning. From that moment on, the tension between them finally starts to fade, while Casper and the rest of the team celebrate the hard-earned result. After that result, Ruben starts attracting new sponsors for the team, but since Sonny has crashed 3 times in similar situations, most people become convinced that he's been doing it on purpose to trigger safety cars. Sonny, however, doesn't care about the rumors and stays focused on preparing for the next race, pushing the car at different speeds and experimenting with various driving styles to understand every detail. Joshua is impressed by Sonny's deep knowledge of Formula One and even asks for the same setup as him. After their testing sessions, Sonny returns to the team quarters and is surprised to see that Kate has already started working on the upgrades he suggested. She tells him that his strategy and confidence have proven he deserves it. Soon, the Italian Grand Prix approaches, and during the pre-race meeting, Kate explains that the longer track will likely require 2 pit stops, with a chance of rain during the race. That's when Sonny suggests putting hard tires on himself and medium tires on Joshua, explaining that his aggressive driving style has already made other drivers wary, meaning they'll focus more on him during the race. As a result, Joshua will have a better chance to move up the field, making him the team's main bet for this race. After the team meeting, the new upgrades help them perform well in qualifying, so they start the race from P10 and P15 the next day. Once the race begins, Sonny holds off all the cars behind him, refusing to let anyone pass, while Joshua gradually finds his pace and starts climbing up the field. Midway through the race, Sonny suddenly calls for a pit stop, and the entire Apex GP crew gets ready. But at the last second, he drives straight past the pit lane without stopping, causing confusion and forcing the cars behind him to lose even more time. Meanwhile, Joshua has already worked his way up to 4th place. Then, just like in the previous race, Sonny deliberately runs off track, dragging gravel and sand back onto the circuit. This triggers a virtual safety car, which is used when there's debris on track. Even without a physical safety car leading the pack, all drivers must reduce their speed by about 40%, and overtaking is not allowed until the track is cleared. Thanks to this clever move, Joshua is able to hold on to P4 for a longer period. But just after 46 laps, the race takes another twist as rain suddenly begins to fall. As the rain starts coming down, the 2 cars ahead of Joshua dive into the pits for intermediate tires, allowing him to move up into 2nd place. At that point, they could have safely finished the race there, but Joshua decides to push for the win, and Sonny chooses to support him. The race leader, Max Verstappen, is far ahead, But when his Red Bull team calls him in for a tire change, Sonny manages to pass him right as he exits the pit lane. Now, Verstappen is one of the greatest drivers in F1 history, with dozens of Grand Prix wins. But Sonny still holds him up, deliberately slowing him down. Eventually, though, Max uses his skill and superior car speed to overtake Sonny. Up until now, Sonny had been telling Joshua to stay behind and play it safe, but now he encourages him to go for the overtake. Joshua improves his position, but as Sonny tries to make another aggressive move himself in a corner, the wet track causes his car to lose grip. In a split second, he spins out and slams into the barrier at high speed, the car launching violently off the track. Even worse, the massive impact immediately sparks a fire, turning the crash into a terrifying scene. After the crash, Sonny quickly stops and, with the help of the F1 crew, helps put out the fire. When Joshua manages to get out alive, everyone breathes a huge sigh of relief, though he still suffers burns on his hands and is taken to the hospital. There, his mother lashes out at Sonny, blaming him entirely for what happened, even though the crash was actually Joshua's fault. Sonny chooses to stay quiet and take the blame without arguing. Later, during the press conference, the media also points fingers at him, but he ignores all of it and focuses on preparing for the upcoming races. With Joshua sidelined for 3 races due to his injury, Sonny builds a solid rhythm alongside the new teammate, Luca Cortez, scoring points in all 3 races and even finishing P5 in the last one, the best result in Apex GP's history. Almost overnight, Sonny pulls the team back from the brink of collapse. However, watching all this only makes Joshua more jealous, especially with his manager fueling his anger against Sonny. When Joshua finally returns after 3 races, Sonny welcomes him warmly, but once the next race begins, it's clear Joshua is still furious. While both are racing well, things take a turn when Joshua deliberately crashes into Sonny while attempting an overtake. Because of that crash, Sonny is forced out of the race, while Joshua goes on to finish in 9th place. Joshua feels a sense of satisfaction after taking Sonny out, but Sonny confronts him afterward, furious and almost ready to throw hands. He warns Joshua that racing with this kind of hostility will only end up ruining his own career, but Joshua brushes it off and walks away casually. Seeing the growing tension between them, the team director calls both drivers in the night before the Las Vegas Grand Prix and suggests settling things with a game. Whoever wins will get priority from Kate in the next race. Joshua is confused at first, but Sonny agrees immediately. Even during the poker game, they keep trading sharp remarks, but in the end, Joshua wins, despite Sonny's past as a skilled gambler. Feeling like he's now the #1 driver, Joshua heads off to celebrate with his manager. Later, Sonny reveals to Kate that he actually lost on purpose to boost Joshua's confidence, because he never wanted to compete against him in the first place. Kate, who was already impressed with Sonny, becomes even more drawn to him after seeing this selfless side of his personality. That night, the two grow closer and spend time together, but later Sonny wakes up from a nightmare about his devastating crash and steps out onto the balcony. Kate joins him and reveals that she joined the team to prove her ex-husband, who was also her physics professor, wrong, as he believed she could never achieve anything as a woman. For that reason, she tells Sonny he has to win at least 1 race. Sonny opens up as well, explaining that after his horrific crash in 1993, he lost his seat even though many believed he was destined to become a world champion. Losing everything pushed him into a downward spiral, but over time he realized that racing was his true passion, and as long as he stayed connected to it, even at the lowest levels, he felt alive. Like everyone else, he still carries the dream of winning a race at least once. In the middle of their conversation, the doorbell suddenly rings, and when Kate opens the door, she finds Ruben, who urgently tells them to get ready because a major problem has just hit the team. When they reach the team quarters, they discover that officials from the FIA have arrived to inspect their cars after receiving an anonymous tip that Apex GP may have installed illegal upgrades. The officials explain that the modifications on the car do not comply with Formula 1 regulation, and when Kate sees the confidential design files and technical documents, she is completely shocked, realizing someone within the team must have leaked them. Ironically, the upgrades had originally been approved by FIA personnel, but now the authorities declare that Apex GP must remove all new upgrades before the next race and compete using their previous specification until a full review is completed. The announcement crushes the entire team's morale. Before the race even begins, it's clear that Sonny is carrying a lot of anger and frustration. Once the race starts, he ignores all team instructions and pushes the car aggressively, eventually attempting an overtake that ends in a serious crash. He is rushed to the hospital, where Ruben reviews his medical records from 30 years ago and is shocked to see how severe his old injuries were. injuries that likely should have ended his racing career permanently. Ruben admits that had he known the full extent of it earlier, he would never have allowed Sonny to race again. He then tells Sonny that he can no longer continue racing for the team and, despite Sonny's objections, removes him from driving duties entirely. Meanwhile, outside the hospital room, Joshua overhears the conversation and is shaken by what he learns. Later, when he runs simulations with his car data, he realizes that he himself was responsible for the crash during the Italian Grand Prix, which triggers a deep sense of guilt. At the same time, Sonny has already packed his belongings and is on his way home. On the road, investor Peter intercepts him and reveals that he plans to sell the team. He admits he originally wanted to do it earlier, but Sonny's arrival and efforts saved Apex GP from collapsing. Now, with Sonny no longer a driver, Peter believes he can sell the team to a major buyer or even take full control himself if Sonny cooperates. He even tempts Sonny with the idea of becoming team principal. From Peter's words, Sonny begins to suspect that Peter was the one who leaked the FIA documents, though he doesn't reveal his thoughts. Peter, assuming Sonny agrees, happily leaves to proceed with his plans. After Sonny's departure, Joshua becomes completely unfocused. Eventually, he confesses to his mother that the Italian crash was entirely his fault, since Sonny had told him to go straight, but he chose to attempt the corner overtake on his own. After that, Joshua's manager tries to arrange a media interview, but he refuses, saying he no longer wants to focus on anything outside racing. Soon, the final race of the season, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, arrives. Even though Sonny has left the team, Joshua continues training with them, and during a workout session the day before the race, they suddenly spot Sonny walking toward the garage. At first, everyone is stunned, but moments later they erupt in excitement. When Sonny enters the garage, Ruben is completely shocked to see him. Sonny tells him that his contract is still legally valid, meaning Ruben cannot stop him from racing this event, and he also claims he never properly received his final payment. Right in front of Ruben, he tears up the resignation papers. Ruben insists that letting him race in his condition is a serious life risk, but Sonny firmly responds that if he has to die, he would still choose to race 1,000 times over. Eventually, Ruben gives in, and Apex GP feels like it has come back to life. On race day, they start from the back of the grid as usual. Peter is completely disappointed when he sees Sonny back on track, and Sonny responds by sending him a message with a bold middle finger. Even though they start from the back of the grid, the updated car upgrades have been approved again, giving all teams improved performance. Sonny and Joshua immediately begin charging through the field, overtaking multiple cars in the opening laps. During one of the battles, a rival tries to pass Sonny but makes contact, causing a tire puncture that forces a pit stop. While most teams gradually come in for their scheduled stops, Joshua stays out on track longer on Sonny's call, using the strategy to climb up and even take the race lead. He manages to hold on to the lead for several laps on worn tires, but eventually both Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc overtake him, forcing him back and pushing him into a pit stop window. Joshua drops a few positions after his stop, while Sonny has already moved far ahead. Once Joshua gets fresh tires, he regains pace and starts climbing through the pack again. In this long endurance-style race, every team completes 2 pit stops, and according to Sonny's plan, Joshua stays out during the second stop as well, allowing him to retake the lead. However, with just 4 laps remaining, he is overtaken by the legendary Lewis Hamilton, and shortly after, Leclerc also passes him, effectively ending Joshua's chances of winning the race. At that point, Joshua is running in P3 with Sonny right behind him in P4. With just 4 laps remaining, Sonny is attacked by Mercedes driver George Russell while defending his position, and the two collide, causing a major crash that ends Russell's race and heavily damages his car. Due to debris on track, the race is immediately red flagged under FIA regulations, meaning everything is paused for 10 minutes. During this period, all teams are allowed to repair damage and change tires, and since the race will restart in a tight pack, overtaking opportunities will increase significantly. Apex GP quickly realizes that this red flag is a lifeline for Joshua, as his chance to win is still alive. Peter, however, is completely stunned, realizing that if Sonny's team wins under Ruben's leadership, his plan to take control of Apex GP could fall apart completely. Despite the damage, Sonny's car is repaired in time by the team within the 10-minute window. Once the red flag period ends, the cars are realigned for a restart, and with fresh tires, Apex GP's cars suddenly gain a significant speed advantage as the race prepares to resume. Sonny, even while running behind Joshua, suddenly overtakes him, but this time it's not due to conflict. It's part of his planned race strategy. He first acts like he's going to attack the car ahead, driven by Charles Leclerc, forcing Leclerc to defend aggressively. This opens up space on the inside, allowing Joshua to slip through and overtake him instead. It's such a clever move that even top-tier drivers would be stunned watching it. After setting up Leclerc and helping Joshua pass, Sonny also overtakes Leclerc himself. Ahead of them now is the greatest driver in Formula One history, Lewis Hamilton, a driver with over 100 career wins, making him an almost impossible target. Still, Sonny commits to the strategy and attacks Hamilton. As Hamilton defends, Joshua manages to pass as well. When Sonny goes for his own move, Hamilton skillfully blocks him, and everyone realizes that the key to winning is sacrificing one car to benefit the other. In a final aggressive attempt, Sonny attacks Hamilton again, but makes contact with his rear tire, causing his own car to spin. Although Sonny loses control momentarily, Joshua and Hamilton continue ahead, escaping the incident. At that point, Joshua is still leading when Hamilton attempts another overtake, but due to a tire contact issue, both end up out of the race. Meanwhile, even after his spin, Sonny manages to regain control of his car and keep his position on track. With Joshua and Hamilton out, Sonny suddenly finds himself in first place, meaning Apex GP's chance of victory is still alive. From that moment on, he focuses completely on clean, controlled driving and pushes the car to its absolute limit, eventually crossing the finish line in first place with a dominant performance. Even though Joshua is out of the race, he is overjoyed for Sonny and celebrates enthusiastically. After the race, Sonny asks him why he's smiling, and Joshua replies that he may win many races in his life, but this one was meant to belong to Sonny. The entire Apex GP team erupts in celebration, as this is the moment they have been waiting for across 3 seasons. After a masterclass victory, during the podium ceremony, Sonny doesn't celebrate alone. Instead, he brings Ruben onto the stage to share the moment. Meanwhile, Joshua's mother and even his manager are seen celebrating his role in the race, while Peter is completely stunned and frustrated, realizing that with this final season win, the board will no longer be able to remove Ruben from ownership. After fulfilling his dream and saving Ruben's position, Sonny takes some time to rest. When Kate comes to see him, he realizes he won't be renewing his contract since he has achieved everything he set out to do and given everything he could to the team. He decides it's time to step away and simply enjoy his life. However, even though he is leaving Formula One, he doesn't really say goodbye to Kate, as their relationship continues on a personal level. After handling all the formalities, Sonny prepares to leave. Joshua asks him where he's going, and Sonny replies that the team is now his responsibility. With that, he says goodbye and sets off toward his next destination, a vast desert in Mexico, where the world-famous off-road race Baja 1000 is held. This has been one of Sonny's long-time dreams, proving that even after leaving F1, his passion for racing is far from over. At the desert, he meets a Baja team and casually asks if they need a driver. When they hear his name, they mention they can't afford a high salary, but Sonny immediately responds that money doesn't matter to him, only his love for racing. Impressed, the Baja team welcomes him on the spot, and that moment brings the story to a close.